Hello, in this video I'd like to talk about love and um, I'll be using uh, the Bible um, to define it and what the Bible says about love. Um, if you watch my previous video, I talked about me being an interfaith and interspiritual minister. Um, so, anyways, let's get on with it. If you would go to Matthew 22, uh, starting at verse 34, it says, hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question: Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second one is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on to these two commandments. So I want to go to the passage here where it says to love your neighbor as yourself. Right now, there's a lot of hate in the world, and a lot of it comes from, I hate to say it, but comes from Christians. They're very homophobic. They don't like Muslims, and so forth. And I don't want to say every Christian is like that, but there are many that do. So it tells you, this is the first and greatest commandment. And the second one is like it. Love thy neighbor as yourself. It doesn't say love the Christian neighbor. Okay? It says love your neighbor as yourself. So let's go on and see what the Bible says about what love is. So I'm going to switch here. I'm trying to hold my Bible and my phone at the same time. So all right. I'm sorry. So if you go to 1 Corinthians 13, starting at verse 4, okay, it says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. Always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Then, if you go on to verse 13, it says, and now these three remain: faith, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So let's go back to verse 4 again. It says, love is patient, love is kind. Are you kind to those homosexuals, transsexuals, gay people, lesbians, bisexuals, and also at this time with the COVID-19, the coronavirus, or whatever you want to call it, are you nice to Asian people? Are you nice to Muslims? Are you nice to your neighbor? Do you love your neighbor, even your black neighbor, your white neighbor, your Spanish neighbor, your Asian neighbor? Um, so let's go on. It says it is not rude. You know, sometimes I could be a little bit rude. So that's something I need to work on. But that's a question you also need to ask yourself. Are you being rude to people that are different from you? It says it does not easily anger. So I know I got anger issues, and that's something I need to work on. Is that something you need to work on as well? I don't know. It keeps no records of wrongs. That's self-explanatory. It always protects. Are you protecting your neighbors? Those that might differ from you in the way you think? So let's go on a little bit. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So how great is your love towards your neighbor and those that differ from you, those that believe different things? I'm sorry. I'm going to grab this other Bible here because I lost my spot in a Bible that I'm holding. So just bear with me, please. And we're going to go on to um, 1 John 4, starting at verse 11. It says, "Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to love one another." If you go down to verse 18, it says, "There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love." Verse 20 says, "If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he hath not seen? And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God loveth his brother also." So let's go back a little bit. It says, "Beloved, if God so loved us, we ought to also love one another." Are you loving one another like you love God? It's something you have to ask yourself. It says there is no fear in love in verse 18. Are you fearing the unknown? Are you fearing